Mm,
Oh, good. And I can,
it's a good suggestion. Okay, here we go.
The composition really helped. Very nice.
Yep. Okay. So we went from black and white to color.
Great.
I think this is very dramatic with a dark background. It's slightly out of focus. The black lucite is got quite a bit of dust and scratches on it, which if you knew basic editing, you could take care of. But I like the positioning of the balls in the screen. It's sort of lopsided, so you don't feel like it's dead center. And you get some side lighting there, which is nice. Again, you have the same problem where it's very dark on one side and light on another. So maybe manipulating the light sources would have eliminated some of that.
If the background weren't as scratched or full of some kind of lint or fuzz or dirt, it would be much more attractive. The colors are very nice. I like that little ball on top that seems to be getting away from the breaking away from the pack. But it's the background that really keep it up. So you can't get rid of that whole background. But look on the right side where it is black, there's a big difference. There's a big difference. And you're getting rid of a lot of the scratches and disturbing elements are gone now. But
Well,
If this is going to happen every time with one flashlight, then maybe you have to use two flashlights from both sides.
That is disturbing.
and you know that when you go look at shooting reflection, shooting windows, shooting lucite, it's almost like you need that little wipe rag in your back pocket because you never know what you're going to come across that you need to clean before you shoot it. Even a car with the reflection hood, sometimes I've done that, wiped it off.
Right.
So just a suggestion. So any other comments on this one?
I have a question for Barbara, who was doing these with the lucite. How do you handle that with the dust in general when you're...
I clean the lucite before I shoot. And, because so many people were shooting, that was kind of impossible. And I take out the background. I blacken everything.
Right.
So I select the back and make it black because with black lucite, unless you're super careful and have cases for them, they get scratched very easily. So mine are very scratched.
I just bought a new one. They scratch very, very easily. Yeah.
So Adrian, I'm thinking one of the first things we need to do with the group coming into January is run a quick workshop for Zoom for those who want to learn about swapping out backgrounds.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Darkening backgrounds. So
I'll make a note.
Yeah, that
Okay.
and some things going on with cropping also, which is very interesting these days. Those two things. Okay. Coming through.
No. Better say something. Nope. All right.
Want me to go back?
I was just going to make a comment about it. When you're talking about the dust, give me the little white areas on top and to the left, to the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those to me give it a sort of a depth, and it looks like branches of other grapes. And I actually like it that way. It gives me a depth feeling, a 3D feeling.
Do you know what could happen in there also in Photoshop Elements? You could also increase the texture, and that would maybe emphasize it more and turn it more into a textured background using what's there. I don't know. We'd have to play.
Michael, I think if you had a darker background, you'd have more of a 3D feeling.
Okay.
That's how I feel.
We ready? Barb, Harv?
Ready.
Okay. Tell me.
Okay, this picture, I don't know if everyone was there that's on here, but this used one of my
Transparencies.
my transparencies, thank you. That it's a transparency that I had actually printed a photograph on, and then it's the same ball that was in the very first picture was placed on the transparency and was shot that way, just so I could explain for those who didn't see it. I really like it. I think it created some interesting effects with the color behind it. Other than a couple bright spots from lights that could be easily taken out, I
Mhm.
think it's very nice. I like the positioning of the ball to the left. I think it's a very nice shot.
The colors are great. They really the blue and the green work together well. I think what Anne said before, keep in mind, you don't have to see the entire subject. You don't have to, because you know the circle is continuing. The eye knows that, and you know that. And this composition is more interesting. It's a very nice composition. Very nice.
I like all the concentric circles and layers of circles, which are kind of fun. And I do like the color. I'm going to go back just so you can see what this looked like too. So look at this. And this is what Barbara was talking about. Just putting this on a transparent background that allowed color to come through. And now you have a whole different sense of depth and dimension.
Yes, yes.
That's very, very lovely. Yep. Yep. And you could decide with this one to not. Whoops, hang on. That was my fault. Cancel.
Uh-huh.
You hit the wrong thing. All right, hang on. I got to come back down to. Oh. All right, hang on. I'm going to stop share for a minute because I got a problem. I tried to do something and I should have. Stop it. All right, here we go. So I meant to hit this, never having done this before with this program, but I'm just kind of looking at even taking that out. I don't know where it should be, but I'm just looking at it because I like this and I like, and that would kind of look like that if you did it. Different look.
Well, it's fun to play around with the crops.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
might find
definitely.
something that you like even better.
Yep.
Well, this is on the light box. I had my light box there, and this is a scarf that was multicolored, which you could play around with. So it's made some very interesting layers of fabrics and some new colors by overlapping the colors. I like the way the person has laid out the scarf. So there's some diagonal folds and some horizontal folds. I think it's very well done.
Got some nice curvy linear lines in it. It's kind of lyrical. It's got a leg. Look at this. It almost looks like
Oh
somebody.
yeah, look at that.
I see a leg going right across it.
Yeah.
And then you have a curvy linear line, and then there's diagonal lines. It's very, very lyrical. It's very pretty.
The more you look at this, the more you see, obviously.
Yep.
It's very nice. Very nice.
And is
Okay.
everyone familiar with the light box that maybe wasn't there where the light box is?
No.
It's basically a board that has internal lighting that's controlled like from low lighting to higher lighting, and it's flat, or you could stand it up and use it as a background also, but you lay objects on it and the light comes through it.
It's like when doctors used to have real x-rays and they clip them onto a light board. That's what it was like.
Good analogy. And it gives you a sense of transparency and an opacity, different darker tones and lighter tones, depending upon how the material is folded on top. Very, very nice.
Well, backlighting gives you an entirely different look. Yes. Yes.
Yep. Different angle, same shot, same concept.
It's the same fabric piece on the light box. This person has played with the color a lot so that the light board has become gray instead of white, and the colors are very saturated. You still have a lot of fun shapes. It's just a different approach to, the same objects. There isn't any outside light other than the light board.
But look how different they look, right?
Totally different.
Right.
One is very soft and pastel, which is
Right.
the way the scarf looks, and this is very strong color.
Mhm.
And the folds are in different places and so forth. So it's very interesting.
I love what it
Yeah.
did to the edges of the fabric, where the fabric folds, there's like a different it makes more of a textured dimension to it, with all the edges being darker. I love this.
It almost looks like it's posterized a little bit,
Yeah.
the way the texture is.
These are all very wonderful abstracts, by the way. If you had a category and we said, unlike necessarily color is the element of design here, but you could do abstracts also in black and white, which that first one was. These are all abstracts that, you know, they lead your imagination to kind of wonder, what is this? How was it shot? It's an isolated perspective or a part of something. It's taken out very well done.
What's the definition of still life? Do we know? It doesn't matter. That's the other thing.
Well, it really can be one object, many objects put together that are inanimate and taken.
What about a landscape that doesn't have, it's the focal, not necessarily a grand landscape, but a regular landscape, but nothing's moving in it. Does that make something a still?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I would agree with you, Mark, but just
That-
wondering.
Me, a still life is something that's arranged or deliberately put in a certain direction or isolated. Even if you found something, on a walk and put things or saw something, it could be a still life, but I don't think scenery generally would be considered a still life.
Well, you'll know why I asked that later, or why I
Yes, I know why you asked that.
Yes, great conversation. So here we go.
Yes.
Something arranged. Well, that was arranged. Oh my God.
Okay,
Bob, what is that,
This
Barbara?
it actually was packing material,
Wigglies.
squigglies that were packed around a bottle. And it was done on the lucite, which they have so much of the squiggly stuff, you don't see any of the scratches on the lucite. Clear corner, so that's good.
Little
I think-
accordions, little accordions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're fun little shapes. It might have been more interesting to have more open space in it rather than so full, but that's the artist's choice.
I agree. I would like to have seen a little more negative space, but I agree with that. But
Well, if I can say what,
Good.
along that line, if you had a little more open space between, it would give more emphasis to the shapes of the diagonal lines. This is a nice diagonal, for example, running up here. There are things here, look at these little peaks. There's all kinds of interesting shapes in here, but they get a little lost. And even this here, they get a little lost with so much in it. So, and even these are fun. So perhaps if it was cropped and blown up a little bit and these were stretched, it might give you that concept. But yeah, just a little less on the tray, so to speak, would have been helpful.
Sometimes
It
less
could-
is more.
it could be a little sharper too, I think. That's
Well, I think it's part of it is sharp and part of it isn't because there's so much of it.
right. Okay.
Because you do see some sharp areas and then others are more soft.
Yeah.
That kind of goes back to what Sam was saying too. It depends if you've got something that's piled on top of a board and has a little depth to it, because some of the little layers of material are closer to the camera than the ones that are underneath, and maybe you have 3 or 4 inches. If you shoot it like flat Stanley, so to speak, and have your aperture wide open, you'll lose the shapes of things in the background deeper on the board. But if you opened up your aperture and went to an f/16 or an f/22, you might get more depth on the board. I don't know. You'd have to play with it. Shoot it more than one way. Shoot it and change your settings. It's helpful.
Wow.
Lovely, soft, very soft. Composition is nice. The whole thing is really got an implied diagonal, if you can see that, and it's really soft. The colors work beautifully. They blend. One blends into the other. I happen to like this a lot.
Yes, I think it's a very nice composition. It's a little hard to tell. I'm not sure if it's done on the light board or if it's done on lucite and then it has an outside light source. because there's a lot of different markings in here. There's some post-processing that has been done on this, but it's very interesting abstract. And this is the same piece of fabric that we have seen.
The upper right maybe can be toned down somewhat. It's a little too bright, but
It looks like the light source was coming from that upper
maybe
right corner.
bar, but overall it's a very pretty soft look.
And this may be painted a little lighter here. It's a little dark for me. A little too much dark right here. So. but I
Barbara,
like-
when you work with those lamps, let's assume that this light source was one of those lamps that you had like a little gooseneck lamp. Do you ever put anything over it, like a dryer sheet or something like
Yeah,
that
I
to
have
soften
put
it?
I've put like fabric that's lightweight that sort of diffuses the light. You have to be careful though, because those
Hot.
lamps are very, very hot. So you
Yeah.
have to watch that you don't keep anything on it too long. But
Got it.
that does help their brightness a lot.
Okay.
And here's our very still life.
And were you referring to that? Was that your
Well, yeah,
concern?
and I think the definition was needed and given well, so now we understand that basically it should be something that is arranged or a part of something that maybe is taken out or isolated that you could make into still life.
Happens
Your
to be a
arrangement
very
would come
nice
from the
photo.
crop and how you worked your camera to getting close to it, but this is actually a very symmetrical landscape with a really pretty shadows on it, on the walkway. The woods are nice, the color tones are nice.
It's a lovely photo. It's just not really considered a still life.
Correct. But it's
Agreed.
a lovely photo.
Agreed.
Yeah. Could use a little contrast, but it's very pretty.
Okay, this looks like an iron gate or piece of iron sculpture that's laid on like patio bricks or a driveway or something. So this is a still life.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because you get a different amount on the right-hand side. You can see more of the background, and then as you go back on it, so they were kind of shooting it at an angle. So it's bigger in the front and then recedes in the back. So that was very interesting to do that.
It was almost diminishing perspective on the flat piece. It was very well done.
Right. So
And
this
I
was
think-
not done in the workshop. So this somebody did on their own. It's very nice.
I think choosing the portrait mode as opposed to a horizontal mode is the good choice here, because that diminishing perspective is important to how good this picture is.
Good point.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we can move on. Okay, these were pieces of palm frond that I brought to the workshop. And I think this is a really interesting shot. It's very crisp. Unfortunately, you have the black background is muddled with dust and scratches. But the lighting on the palm frond and the angle of the palm frond that you chose to shoot at looks great.
Does anyone see a large fish?
Yes.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yes.
Right? That's how I see it.
It looks like two fish swimming together, actually.
The colors are beautiful with the dark background and the orange, little yellow in there. Nice colors. Very
Yeah.
nice.
A little,
Has a leathery look.
It does.
Yeah, the
Yeah, it makes you wonder what that is. It almost looks like it's stitching and fabric that's come apart at the seams. It's really kind of wild. I love the texture in it too. Adrian,
And-
put on our list to also cover when we do the bit about the other two, add brush to that. Just a little black brush work in here would take that out.
You know, Barbara goes around from house to house and she steals these fronds. So trust me, be careful.
I have to say, every
find
time
them
I'm
on the
out,
sidewalk.
I
Every
saw her
time I'm out
garbage
for a walk,
disposal.
I think about Barbara when I see these things on the
That's
ground.
right. That's
I
right.
know, I'm always looking down or up, trying to find cool things to take pictures of.
I think the texture and the sharpness in that image were fabulous.
I do
Yes,
too.
I
The,
agree.
just all the
Those-
details are
All the little
unbelievable.
edges.
Yeah, they're just unbelievable.
It does look like something that was ripped. It's very cool.
Yeah.
And this is kind of neat because someone put the, I had brought paper towel holders and they put them on top of the black lucite, it looks like, to get this reflection. And I think it's a great idea. And I like that it's not symmetrical. I would have turned that one so you didn't see those red arrows. But
See, I
other
like the
than
red
that,
arrows because they break the pattern.
I like the red
yeah,
arrows
that's
too.
true.
So do I. So
I
do
think
I.
the red arrow makes it.
I think
So
so.
I take it back.
The red arrow does make it.
I like it, yeah.
Very clever.
Yeah.
This would be interesting to put through some of the filters that are in Photoshop Elements just to see what some of the different kinds of filters would do to this, because it's such a good, basic, sharp, interesting pattern that it might work really well with some of those filters.
I agree.
Yeah, I've done a lot of those with filters. They're a lot of fun. You can
Or
do
the
some
Nick filters
really
are
weird
on one.
things.
Yeah.
Am I
Well-
allowed to ask a question?
Well,
Yeah, we've been kind of loose this time. Go ahead.
Well, it's not the same as our contest when we run the
Right.
event monthly. This is different. There's a workshop. Yeah.
Okay, so that little piece of cardboard hanging down in
Mhm.
the upper cylinder, that I find that very distracting. Does that bother anybody else?
Right here.
That-
Yeah, you
and-
could. You
And
could
the
take that
damaged
out.
cylinder above it bothers me too.
But I mean, like, so to make this, to improve it all on this picture, would like you take that out in Photoshop?
that's
Yeah, you
easy to
could
do.
take
Yeah.
that
Like
piece out.
Photoshop that out, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
could turn the other roll so you didn't see the bend or fix the bend before you
Right,
shoot.
right. Okay, thank you.
Next.
Hang on. Maybe that was. Here we go. It froze on me.
Okay, so this composition was used with a lot of the things that I have there. Those are some pebbles that are from the dollar store, obviously a palm frond, and those little curly things again that were put into a nice still life setting that kind of forms a triangle.
Mm.
And it's a little bit out of focus, but it's very nice in terms of the setup.
The focal
Yeah.
point, I think, was right here.
Right.
Yeah,
Now the
I would,
vignette,
I would say some
Yeah.
some of it is in focus and some of it is less focused,
Yeah.
but that's okay.
Yeah.
now you have a strong vignette there, but it does bring your eye to the middle. So you accomplish that. And the shadow nice also.
Yeah. The shadows are
Color.
great.
Also,
Colorful.
the
Yeah.
shadows are wonderful right here, the
Yeah.
reflection, here, the shadows off of here, off these little squiggly things we call them, the shadow here, and even back in here, it's just, the shadows are gorgeous.
Mhm.
I think this was done on the white lucite, not the whiteboard, but I'm not sure.
Very pretty.
It was.
Beautiful.
And
Beautiful.
I put the vignette on it because you saw all the shadows in here, and that black vignette kind of complemented it.
Yeah,
So-
it is.
Yeah.
It is strong, but it does work. It does
Okay,
work.
so in your opacity settings, when you're working with a vignette, see if you can find a way to soften the vignette so it fades a little bit more, because one of the things that everybody has told us is that you don't really want to notice the vignette. You don't really want to see the hard line of the vignette. So if you can fade this and soften it a little bit in and fade it in a little bit more, I think it would be more effective, but it's very, very pretty. I don't want my eye to go to the vignette. I want my eye to stay in here. But the vignette is important, so it does the job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Very nice. Anybody have anything else?
I think the focus point was mostly on the, if she did the center point, instead of having, she used aperture and aperture setting, and then she focused mainly on, instead of having the focus around the whole thing, it would have been more in focus.
Maybe right here.
Just choose, yeah, something in the middle.
Yeah, yeah.
But it doesn't bother me that it's soft.
Sorry.
Okay.
That's right. It doesn't bother me because you still have all the detail and the texture. So it, that I think that's fine. So cool.
Very
It's
pretty
beautiful.
Okay, okay. This really, really shocked me because I took this picture many times, but vertically, portrait mode, okay? And I never saw this bow tie effect, so shall we say. It was very cleverly done. You can still see the 3D effect of the wallpaper, the way I put it on a diagonal, and the reflection from the acrylic board. But I think it really is cute, and it's different and very well seen. Very well seen.
I agree. I think it was a very fun idea to turn it horizontal because
Yeah.
usually you see these refractions are vertical. So good creativity.
Yes, absolutely.
I would have wanted to see the blacks blacker.
Me too.
I'm just, when I see black and white, I want it to
Right here.
be, yeah, black and white. Yeah, not gray. So that's
Need
an
more
easy
contrast
fix.
in it right here. Just a
Right.
little more contrast would have done that. Yep. On this side.
Yeah.
Very nice. We ready?
Okay.
Oh, I love this.
After this, show mine, Anne, after this.
Okay. I think this is the last one, and then we have to go back. We might have one more. We'll look.
Okay.
I think this is great because of the pattern in the glass and also the reflection that you're getting looking down is really sharp, and you can see the glass upside down, and it's just a beautiful look.
I like the crop.
Yeah.
I love the color, the crop. I like all the shapes. It's got a nice graphic sense to it, nice reflective sense to it.
Yeah, it's very lovely.
And the texture in the paper that
Right
makes
here.
all those lines, it just, and what that does in the water is as little stripes. Just great.
Beautiful with the texture.
Take away for a second, but if you can color that bar, if nobody said anything about it, if you can
What-
color that bar, I think would enhance the image.
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know. That's the end of the studio, the tabletop studio, the
Oh, right.
white. Yeah, I was
The
going to
only
say.
thing I like about it
Oh,
is
that
it
is.
made a white mark in the shadow inside the glass, which is very attractive.
Right here. You can
Yeah.
see it. Yeah. A little bit up in here too, from the white.
You see, and Barbara, that bothers me a little bit. The white in the black part of the glass.
Oh,
That-
that doesn't bother me. I think
Yeah.
it made
Really?
an interesting
Really?
shape. But you could have still left the reflection inside the glass and taken away the stripe in the back.
Exactly right.
Right.
Where do you get this kind of paper?
Go online, corrugated squares on Amazon, and you'll find it.
Okay.
Whatever you want, ask Mr. Amazon.
So Adrian, we're talking also that brush tool in here, just to
Yeah,
blacken right here. We're just gonna blacken that right out
yeah.
and match the color. So, all right, Harv, I'm gonna try to go back to yours. Let's see if it goes back to 0.
Was-
Okay, hang
Was
on.
this the last one?
Hold on.
This was the
Yes,
last
Bob.
in the series, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
Barbara.
There it is.
Now
Oh.
I broke all the rules. I'm not supposed to put a picture in, but Adrian, I got special dispensation from Adrian, and I brought this material with me. I didn't have time to use it. That is in the background a pizza pan. So my point is, whatever you have around the house, like Barbara's material, just try and use it. Okay. What I did was put a red piece of paper, construction paper, under that pizza pan. There is a reflective surface on the bottom. So you see the pizza, it's only one pan, vertical and reflecting on the bottom. That crystal ball is on the base to hold it really. But look how the red reflects on the top of that
Yeah.
top ball. It makes it really interesting. And does anyone see what I see if you look at the two balls together? I showed Adrian. Does it look like something? Top ball to bottom ball.
Barbell.
Anyone see what I see?
A wobbly person.
I see I see an old telephone receiver. An
Oh,
old
yeah.
telephone.
Telephone
Do you see it?
receiver.
Do you see it?
Yeah.
Like a telephone receiver?
Telephone receiver.
Right? Right?
Yes.
Again, not intentional, but you don't know what you're going to get until you get it.
So much
But-
fun.
But I like the red, the way that came out. I really do.
Harvey, I also think, like for you and Barb and for the six of us when we do these, that it does help to finish up if we have time and we don't have a lot of pictures, to add a few of our own and to give people an idea of where else they might go and what we've shot. I think
You're breaking all
Yeah.
the rules, and you're breaking the rules. I don't know. We have to vote on that.
we already did it. I
Yeah,
think
we did it the first time.
We've been doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was a fun workshop. And I
It
think
was
that
great.
was Barbara's idea. You can use anything you want for something like this. And it's all still life. Yes, it is.
It's a great rainy day activity.
Absolutely.
We're gonna have a few.
Yes, you're right.
Also to add, just clarification, when we do the monthly contests, that's the one where we have honorable mentions because we're allowing 3 pictures. When we do the event, okay, on a given shoot on a given day, you have to be there on that day at that time in that place and shoot it there. That one is just a one solitary winner and that's it. And there is, I don't believe a critique on that one, right, Adrian?
Yes, there is. The
Oh,
theme,
there
do-
is a
the
critique on that,
theme
but it's
doesn't.
one picture. Right.
Right.
But when we do the workshops, no. But in this case, because this really yielded some interesting pictures. For example, tomorrow we're doing apps. We're not going to have a review session on that. We're not going to do that. It's a matter of giving you the tools to work with a couple of apps on your phone. Now, where that comes in is when you do your event shooting or you do your monthly, then you use those apps to submit the pictures and utilize what we're giving you to incorporate that into your workflow so you can, we'll see some of those things hopefully pop when you do the monthly and the event photos when you submit. But the one for tomorrow that we're doing is, although it's in person, it's up in the clubhouse. We will teach you, we will show you, we will work with you, and then you've got to figure out how you want to use that and where you want to use them. Is that anything else you want to say to that one, Adrian? We good on
No.
that?
That's a good synopsis.
And again, because we're punting online with this, as we move forward, we're learning. And like this was, I think that the workshop today with having these pictures for people to critique, I think was excellent.
Yeah.
And I think we definitely should have amended that and said, Joe, yeah, we need to do this. So we do. We'll do what we need to do to adjust as we move forward. with everything.
It may sound silly, but I like the Zoom. It's an intimate feeling, not scattered, let's say, throughout the clubhouse. It's a very warm, intimate feeling, I think.
I think for the critiques, it's really beneficial.
right?
But
Isn't-
I'm going to
right.
be doing a composition workshop in January live. I wanted to get one more live one in before we close the clubhouse, so we're going to do that one live. And I think that'll just be a nice time to get together. I'll have some cookies. We
Okay.
can have, be a little bit different. Okay, this was great. Thank you everybody for coming.
Thank you.
And I had time to record it, and I have to go play bocce.
Oh,
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Watch out for
Barbara,
the
thank
wind.
you. Take care.
Okay.
Bye.
Take
Bye
care.
all.